Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm really excited uh, for the obvious. One, your spiritual work that you've been doing, the work that you've been doing and been putting in is working for you. So right now, I know this hell on earth, always have been, but now it's amplified. But heaven is on earth now, okay? So before I start talking about the Mothman, because this is what today is about. We're going to talk about the Mothman. Let's talk about the positivity, because with the Mothman, it is a scary time for those who are in the trajectory of what the Mothman is heralding or confirming is happening. When you watch the movie The Mothman Prophecies, there's a part where I think it's Richard Gere who stars in this, co-stars in this, based off of true events dealing with this particular species or creation with the Mothman, called the Mothman. He went to an expert, and the expert is like, his theory is to have the Mothman present is to let you know that it's a countdown before there is an extinction level event, E.L.E. So when in the movie Point Pleasant, an actual place in Pennsylvania, I believe, there was a catastrophe that was in the offing, and people in that town kept seeing, having experiences with seeing, sketching out the Mothman and different types of morphs, because they have various forms of morphing. They may be allies to me personally and to the 144,000. The rest of us, personally, they are allies to those who are not in its trajectory, not in its in its extinction level. And I say trajectory because I'm still getting to know them. I don't know what other things they have, tricks they have up their sleeves, wings, whatever, but I know when it comes to enemies, they're not nice. When it comes to unsavory people or perhaps other entities, they're not that nice. And even around me, I feel a certain vibe with them. You know, it's not every creation is going to be kikiing and smiling and stuff. Everybody has a purpose. So their purpose, according to the conspiracist, or the theorist was talking about the Mothman in the movie. He told Richard Gere that, let's just say the Mothman was on top of the Empire State Building, and 10 blocks down Fifth Avenue, there's an accident. The Mothman can see that, but we won't hear about it until the 6 o'clock, maybe the 11 o'clock news. But it's happened. It's a strange paradox, perhaps, but they know. And let me tell you something. They have joined the round table, the Ark of the Covenant. They are infused with the Ark of the Covenant. They reveal to me their multitude of manifestation and the human experience, because every creation, when I upload the points of origins from whether you're from Aldebaran, Antares, Pleiades, Spica, Zeta Reticuli, Andromeda, Cassiopeia, all these different neighborhoods in the heavens, right? We're all from one of these places or from some dimension, or some of us are even indigenous. From the Big Bang to now, we've come up with, we've come from many different points of origins, but some of us are actually indigenous to Earth. But Earth is where the human experience allows for all the different creations to have an experience in the 3D, an experience. Okay. So I've seen in the human experience, I've seen Mothman 1 and Mothman 2. I think there's a Mothman 3. So far, I've just seen Mothman 1 and Mothman 2. And the one, like they give off a very strong energy because they're very connected to the moth. They're connected to nocturnal. They're very connected to the owl, big time. It's like one of their manifestations reminds me of a human owl, period. And some people are freaked out by the owl. That happens to be my personal totem, animal totem. And everybody has at least one. The owl is mine. Top, top, top. Even my child, the snowy owl belongs to her. So it's, the owl can see in the dark, can see, what other folks can't see. Very powerful beings. Some might be like, oh, if they see an owl, oh my God, something bad about to happen. Sometimes, just like the crow, it'll let you know that there's something that is culminating. So the Mothman that you see in the thumbnail, that was rendered out from an image off of Mount Shasta, and we know that Mount Shasta is very known to have a lot of spiritual power and properties. People have forums there. They have the kumbaya kind of like organic Reiki, this, that, and the third. Like you can go there, like when people go to Sedona for the ley lines, for the power. Certain areas you can get that power energy that you need to pull from the earth and or connect from the earth to the heavens, to a certain part of the heavens. There's so much going on earth. So much going on earth. But yeah, this is Mount Shasta yielded one hell of a image of the Mothman. And when I saw it, I was like, thank you, I appreciate that. Because I don't feel ominous anything from this image. It's like it was waiting for me. Quietly in the snow on that snow-capped mountain, right? But then this is like other rendering. Okay, so let me hold this properly. This one here is from an image of dinosaurs right before extinction with a pterodactyl and stuff like that, and I rendered it out and I saw the Mothman. So this is where the owl energy comes in strong when they manifest like this. This is them again. This picture is when I went into ATL to set up a protective war grid and then come back up to New York and bust some ass with it. That grid is so powerful, it's even got Diddy in a motherfucking chokehold. I'm gonna have to go into the science to let you know about that. This is another, different photos, different manifestations of the Mothman. You can pause it and see it for yourself. Let me get my little blue chalcedony, however you want to pronounce it, wand, but eyes, mouth. But it can be seen in so many different ways with the way the wingspan is. On the back of this card, it says the collective. So this is for the collective. And it's really saying eyes wide open now, no more eyes wide shut. So obviously the Mothman is addressing any levels of the slave planet hierarchy, Massa, Medusa, Medusi, as the tier one, the top of top. Powers that be, that rule, that run thing, or is about to not to do that with the kingdom of heaven here. That's changing, right? And a lot has changed. Then you have the overseers. That's people with authority and power as far as like keeping law and order. Overseer, right? Then you have the house ninja and the field ninja. The Mothman is like, I don't give a damn where, who, where, what, blah, blah. I catch your ass as a rap. If it's meant for you to have an extinction level event, that's what you're going to have. Now, I'm going to go more into the owl, but I'm being drawn to the attention of this card that I shuffled and pulled out. The cards that I have laid out on the table next to me that I'm going over is to give you images and information from the Revelations Oracle. This comes out of the Revelations Oracle via me shuffling. And this is Oya. Oya has three different... So we're dealing with transformation. We're dealing with transformation. This is Oya and like she has the old crone. I don't know if everybody, viewing right now is aware of the old crone, but the old crone is like the maiden, the elder, and the little girl. And Oya has that Trinity energy. So this is her as in the middle, the mature woman. The elder portion of her, I believe, is when she's in storm mode, and I definitely have receipts. I can show you what she actually looks like when she tan through that motherfucking life of yours, if you so deserve it. But Oya is in the building. The younger version of the is playful and likes to dance. She looks different from this, but I know it's her. And I have that. She showed up on my skin. Now, this is not my skin. This is the actor Chiwetel. I'm about to tear his name up with my dyslexia. I'm so sorry. I think it's Chiwetel Elijiofor. Yeah, definitely know who I'm talking about. But Chiwetel, I am so sorry if I'm... Might as well call you Chewbacca, because let me tell you, my dyslexia will tear your name apart. I should have got a refresher of how to pronounce your name before I got on this recording, but please bear with me, and no disrespect intended. But why do you have Oya on your forehead, Al? That's a blessing, because she's not in storm mode. She's like hands off of Chiwetel, and his whole family, his bloodline, his spouse, his children, his bloodline before him, and the bloodline to come through. Don't even come near them with the fuck shit. Okay, so he's very protected. On the back of this card, there's a boomerang, a blood moon boomerang energy, Lilith moon getting her ass whooped. But this is the symphony of the wrathful goddess gang. When they come through, child, let me tell you something. It's your life. I would say it's your ass, Mr. Postman, but it's your life. So the wrath of the goddess gang, Oya is point for all the goddesses of all the pantheons. Everybody is sovereign. Everybody is gangster. But there is a certain organization when it comes to the Ark of the Covenant, when it comes to the Round Table. There's sectors, there's territories that have caretakers, there's certain positions. Every position, every person, every entity is a caretaker of some aspect. So Oya is point for where all the goddess gang, they come through and they're like, Pele's like, so I got X amount of lava I'm bringing back down to hell. Boom, boom, boom. Cool, you got that, cool. I'm glad you got the lava, because over here, this is what we needed, this, that, and the third, so that works out really well. Okay, cool, Kalima. Kalima, anything else you might need down there? Well, what I need is at least 2 tons of lava in their mouth over there. Oh, they need a lake of fire in their mouth, or a lake of blood fire in their mouth? Yes. So Oya was like, well, let me talk to Ogun and get his cauldron, and we'll start carting some more blood fire over to this individual. Anybody else got anything to say? And so you got these goddesses, Yemaya was like, well, I was thinking that we could do this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. But, what do I know? Because we're cleaning the planet with fire, right? The extinction levels through fire? Yes, it's through fire. But that doesn't mean a good tsunami here and there ain't going to, give us what we need. Yemaya, we might need that tsunami. Yemaya, we might need that tsunami. And she's like, all right, let me work out the tsunami from over here. The tsunami. Okay? So I think that's why I'm so excited, because the goddess gang is here, popping, just there's so many. Because there's pantheons at this round table that belong to Earth, and some are not even from Earth. You got pantheons from other planets that is like, here, we're here. You know what I'm saying? Bellatrax, we're here. Rigel, we're here. Okay? All these different pantheons. Lyra, pantheons from Lyra, are you here? Present. You got these pantheons left and right. You got goddesses all over, from all over, different dimensions. Avalon, everybody coming through. Titania is like, what's up? I'm like, Titania, how are you? Okay, like, I'm real excited. And I feel like they gathered around because Yah's, she whooping ass. If she enters your life on some you've been on some fuckery, your life is done. Then she's point for all the goddess gangs to be like, this is what we're going to be doing, this and the third. Cool, this works out really well. Great. Communication makes the team work. Let's do this. All right, let's go. And then there's people, people who decided to do womb rating. When they come up, I know there's some womb rating that still needs to be addressed. And people have to pay back from tapping into people's womb space. And what I'm also getting is that when this wrath is, I've seen it before and I see it coming back around again. There's certain females that are going through something in their reproductive systems specifically because they did a moon ritual. They did a boomerang, a sickle moon ritual. So then Santa Muerte is here. The ultimate thing is Santa Muerte is like, and then I'm going to finish them at the end. Cool, perfect. And all the goddesses and all the entities, everybody goes and do what they got to do. So definitely Oya, definitely Pele, definitely Kalima. A lot of goddesses are here to whoop ass. Mama God is here to whoop ass. We call her Doom, Van Doom. In the previous recording, I had brought up this card for the reactor, right? This was the reactor. In the read right prior to this one, this guy, this person who was hired to do something horrific to you, is going to be utilized for something very, very key, a cog. Something, because they're not a person anymore, they're not human, they're something. So something that God don't even want, except for to like throw into the fires, to generate a nice warm hearth that will keep warm and keep going and keep fueling heaven on earth. Not just have heaven on earth, but like heaven on earth. We gotta therefore not only rid out the gunk and the filth, but throw them into the fire. They wanted to throw you in the fire, they did. And you came out because Father God's wife, Doom, Van Doom, had you protected like Daniel in the furnace. And when you came out some supernatural primordial out of cryostasis. So what was a weapon that was formed against you that was tremendous and could have taken you out if it wasn't in divine order for you to subdue whoever was going to deploy this weaponry and take what this weaponry was meant to do, flip it, transmute it, and now you're this primordial, you're this empress goddess, this emperor god, coming through talking about war. And it's just like, had they left you alone, you was over there filling up the snack bags for the lunch bags and planning on driving to Six Flags with the kids over the weekend with your spouse and all that stuff. And, you was doing that. Or you was working 16 hours, painting in the studio. You was in your own zone. And then boom, you got taken out your comfort zone. And now you're this primordial, sevenfold being that will never reincarnate. Carnegie. Okay, will never reincarnate again. Carnegie. There was a movie based on a true story. I'm not going to go deep into it, but I believe it had Meryl Streep. And it's based on a true story where a woman was in, I think like in a more depleted neighborhood, perhaps in Harlem. And she had a divorce. And so her whole way of life had completely stopped. And she has to start anew. So she bought, there was a time in Harlem that you can buy a dilapidated brownstone for probably $5,000-$10,000. And I know those who did that back in the day, back in like the 90s and 80s or whatever, I'm pretty sure they're like, whoo, thank God I did that then, because now it is multi-million-dollar property today. She redid it. She had her kids. It was a military family. She was teaching the violin overseas and when she was traveling with the military. So now she's home with the kids. She's a musician. She always wanted to play Carnegie Hall, but she got married, had kids. So no Carnegie Hall. And then this is very important for everybody who is tuned in, that's something that she wanted really badly. Okay? Hold that thought. That Carnegie Hall, she really wanted it really badly. But, she was light years away from it. So now she's taken on a job that they actually have funding for at the school, at a public school, and she's providing violin. So this is the first time the school has had violin because they never had a budget for it. Now they have a budget. It's one of them good seasons where there was enough money to pour into the DOE to, increase what can be offered to the children's curriculum. Violin is one of them. And she was actually pitching this to the school. She said, let me do this while there's still a grant available. Let me provide this. Well, we don't have any violin. She says, oh, wow. I have a whole thing of violin because I used to teach violin, so I would donate my violins. She had 20, 30 violins. So they're like, boom, let's do this. Angela Bassett was in this too. So it was Angela Bassett and Meryl Streep. So they get the school going and they really are impacting the children's lives tremendously. And she's doing this for years. And then I think maybe 10 years later, the grant was pulled. So she wants to raise the money. And she went to rent out a little hall not too far from the school. And then it got rained out. As soon as I heard that, I was just like, bitch, you going to Carnegie Hall. Hey, girl. And come to find out, some connections said, I know this burnt out, but how about Carnegie Hall? You okay with that? She was like, yeah. And she had a moment before the production, before taking students that had already graduated and that are still doing violin and doing very well because they have a purpose that gave them fulfillment and focus. So you got the alumni kids and you got the young, the starting out kids, and they're going to have this production. But before the Carnegie Hall is filled up, she goes on that stage and she's like, so dreams do come true. Interesting. And she's at that maturation that it's not about her on the stage. It's about everybody she was able to bring onto that stage and how that's still reverberating to this day. So for Hell on Earth, the Mothman is here. There will be no more opportunities. There'll be punishment. There'll be retribution. There'll be agony. For those who want to do for humanity, there'll be dreams coming true. Fruits of your labor no longer harvested and have you blocked from it. No more people stealing without repercussions. And even if they do manage to steal from you, it's because maybe it was required so that they can get on up out of here and go into that furnace for fucking with you. They're going to go into the furnace because you're here to help so many people. That's not a hard math to put together. If you're harassing one person who's here to help the masses, then you're going to get the karma of harassing that person, their bloodline, and the masses and their bloodlines. That was supposed to receive this blessing, that you decided to be, a thief and take it from someone, right? Hold on 1 second, check on something. I don't want to start no fire. Make sure everything. Okay. All right, so heaven on earth versus hell on earth, but the hell's gonna get nastier until we have sovereignty. So to spill over from the Hitman video prior to this one to this, I had mentioned when Mother God is in this mode, as you can see, let me get this. You can see her eyes here. You see those eyes? Because she's representing doom, right? This is the Mothman. You see his eyes? Now, I have her actual face. She was somebody, Mother God was actually on this side with us. Well, we'll get to that, y'all. We'll get to that. But this is her in the storm cloud. This is her. In Miami, remember that tower fell, collapsed, and killed all those people in that luxury tower? This is a rendering out of that photo of, that debris. So you see her eyes? You see her eyes? And the head is square. This is her in storm mode. You see those eyes? Same as those eyes. When she's in doom. Here we go. Usually square. Let me show you another. I gotta hide her face, y'all. I'm not ready to reveal. I'm very protective of her. That she was Mary Magdalene, but in this recent, her last incarnation, she was in music. She did really well. And she's up in Zion not knowing who she is. And she's working in tandem with the Mothman. Now, I mentioned to y'all before that Tupac is in the ark. And in the four sectors, the four apocalyptic sectors, whatever sector that Pac is in, as he so chooses, he transforms, he mutates. In the red sector, he used to be the Red Horseman, but he traded with the Orisha E.L.E. So now, E.L.E. is like, you take my Orisha position, I'm going to take the Red Horseman, and I'm going to wreak havoc on this planet. And Pac was like, bet. I called them the Gemini twins, both of them. And like, well, what's up? And like, well, he's now the Red Kachina or the Red Horseman. And Tupac took on, well, this is him in the Black Horseman sector as the usher. His face was derived out of the two Twin Towers burning. So 9/11 is key. 9/11, Katrina, and 9/11, Katrina, and COVID. Wicked ass planet. See now why we got to have this? What the fuck was all of that for? 9/11, Katrina, and COVID. And see, while Diddy is having his trial on earth, the spiritual trial is going on. Diddy did enough to make sure this happened. His contribution to what you're seeing unfold in your life and in general, and even what I'm showing you here to confirm some things. He outdid himself, ran up such a tab to put the kingdom of heaven on a honey. Not just the kingdom of heaven arriving and then having to have oodles and noodles. No, the kingdom of heaven here, and the meek shall inherit the earth. Thank you, Sean fucking Combs. And you know Tupac is having a good time. But this is him as a legua. This is him rendered out from the $2 bill on the back of the $2 bill. There's a lot going on in the back of that $2 bill, y'all. A lot. This is him, and he has multiple formations. This is one of them. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is that he also has a Mothman transformation. He rolls with the Mothman, hard body. You see those eyes? Those eyes are scary. I wish it wasn't such a glare. Okay, let me put it here. You can screenshot that. Look at them eyes, child. Point that out. Now, I'm going to tell you, Tupac knew Mary Magdalene back when it was, the time of the crucifix. He knew her then. But he knew her in the music industry. She was in the music industry before she passed. But when she's clocked in and at work with her husband, Father God, Yeshua, she looks like this, like primordial and very frightening. She's doomed, right? When she's chilling, when she's off duty, she's looking gorgeous, enjoying Zion, enjoying heaven. That's her and Yahshua's inheritance, Zion, a multi-universe. So somebody that we really enjoyed her music, her personality, and then she passed horribly, and it broke our hearts. And then I remember I was, once I stumbled onto Zion, I was trying to get everybody up there. You understand? And I kept calling her name. I was like, so-and-so, can you hear me? Now, Selena heard me. I said, Selena, can you hear me? She heard me. A lot of people heard me. I was like, well, just get your ass to Zion and let's come on. Let's go. Let's do this. All right? I don't know where you was at, but you got to come here. Zion is the VIP. But I couldn't get to her. And then I was told on a different day, ask again, call on her, call her. And then she heard me. And she's been protecting me ever since. She don't play that. This before she knew. She don't care. You her family. She got you. Okay? She don't even care. You're her family. Okay? She got you. Go gangster with it. Like, fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's who Mother God position has been given to. That's her boom. And when Yahshua received the throne and he's walking in and amongst everybody in Zion and stuff, on some down to quote unquote down to earth, later on she would find out, it would be revealed who she is and why they have a connection in Zion. And now they just are connected. They're a spouse. And I know she's like, wow. And I'm very protective of her because, the level of jealousy when people find out who she really is and that Yahshua is her husband, Father God, and who she will be forever, caring for creation. That's a huge boon, so I got her back. Father and Mother God is a different physics, y'all. We don't go praying to God, can you get me out? No. It's God, what can I do for you? What you need? That's a powerful thing. And God is like, I'm gonna need you to help like about 1 billion people. Can you go ahead and do that? Sure. Now, where you at, you could tell me how I can do it. Yeah, I can tell you how to do it. This is how you do it. Boom, boom, boom. All right, I'm on it. Because you got that guidance. So you can ask Yahshua, you can ask Wrath and Doom, give me the guidance on how to do this. And I'm going to go ahead and do it. Ain't no way y'all going to disrespect Yahshua and think everything is all cool and great. He got up on that cross for a reason. We all know why. All right? And he said, I can do whatever I can do, you can do. Okay, he was like, Stewart, look what I can do, right? He had that Stewart time on the planet. He likes a good joke, so I know he understands. But he doesn't act like Stewart. But yeah, he's like, look what I can do, right? From making, the best wine. Because the best wine, they have cheap wine, and they have really good wine at the weddings in those ancient days. And maybe even now, they have, the cheap shit, and they got the expensive stuff. his wine that he made out of water was better than the most expensive wine, the best wine at the wedding. So he went from that, and y'all could tell I like me a nice goblet of wine while I watch Frasier. Any fans of Frasier? That they did a resurgence with Frasier. If you want to laugh, if you grown and you want grown people laughter, watch Frasier, and have a glass of wine. It's nice. To feeding 5,000 people with just a basket of fish and bread, or raising people from the dead, you can do this and more. That's what he said. And then he got crucified, sacrificed up, so that's what we are going to do when the time comes. The time has arrived. Walk on water, even if in your imagination, but I suggest you walk on some type of water right now. I suggest you get in alignment with that kind of energy. What can you do? Look what I can do. Do a ritual to steal from somebody and have ill-gotten gains that you got to now pay back and then some with interest. Now you're in pure agony, hell on earth, and the Mothman is just like, what's up? How you doing? How your mama doing? Okay? It's pretty bad, y'all. I'm not gonna tell y'all that it ain't bad. And it's going to get worse. But that's if you're in that energy. On the flip side, everything is blessed for you. Can I tell you that this strange energy that we've all been feeling when we go outside, you could feel the supernatural. It had been kept, like people were stingy with the usage or the manipulation of the supernatural energy here. But we have always had both the natural and the supernatural. We're just in the quote unquote natural. We're in the 3D and stuff, you know. There's confinements, there's restrictions with the whole 3D thing. But that doesn't mean that there's no balance of supernatural and natural. And people were keeping quiet that this is what was needed to balance out the supernatural with the natural, so that you stay in cryostasis, so you stay a slave, never sovereign. So now that you have your sovereignty, your strength, the ancient Sumerian tablet is the strength card. Thousands of years ago, they carved this John out. Then we get the major arcana. This ain't no new science, no new knowledge, right knowledge. This is ancient. This is ancient. That knowledge came out with the Big Bang, but it was already in some form of existence to come out with the Big Bang. How they knew about the strength card back then and knew it in full. We get a little half-assed version of this in the tarot cards. Why leave out what has caused us to have strength in the first place? That antagonist. This is the protagonist. This is the Herculean, the Wonder Woman. In the masculine energy, I say it's the Herculean because of that lion. The Hercules trials and tribulations that he was able to overcome consisted of a lion. I always feel it's Hercules' energy, is strength. The card is strength, right? But this is the reason why. Because you got this obsessed, wicked energy. That's one way, one X-ray flims to see it from, right? Flims. You can look at it as this too. When I was asleep, I wanted to be this. But now that I'm out of cryostasis, this is me. And this lion energy, this Lion of Judah, this Leo vibe is like, and never ever go back to this energy again. Stay fierce and fly. Stay an emperor, empress, god, goddess. Stay in that upper energy. When your energy is high vibrational, you are transformative to yourself and into the environment, and we are products of our environment. You're not a micromanager, you're not a megalomaniac, you're a fucking leader, because you don't manage the people, you manage the environment. Never manage a person. Who the fuck do you think you are? You manage the environment. If you are empress, goddess, emperor, god, this is why they came for us in Atlantis, because we was only empresses and emperors at the time of Alpha. Then we had the time of crucifixion of Yeshua. Now we're in the time of Omega. It's a Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras triangle. So now that we're in the Omega, because of the physics and the dues that we've paid and the longest hustle, the most illest hustle on this planet. I'm talking to the Freemasons and I heard secret services, okay. All the secret societies and the actual secret society. Oh, it ain't no secret no more because I know I'm running my mouth about it. The first resurrected. Those are supernatural beings. They came out of the graves at the time of Yeshua's crucifixion. Where they been at since? Interesting that Bible don't talk about that. But the Bible need to be talking about it. It don't be talking about it. And it's a long-winded book, ain't it? So what happened to the first resurrection? Why are you telling me people cracked out of some graves and you don't tell me what the fuck is going on since? How you don't do that? Or is it documented somewhere, an ancient scroll that we're not privy to, because then we'll understand what we're going to understand. What we're going to understand, because if we understand the supernatural energies on this planet, that's only 2,000 years ago. That's barely a drop in a bucket of time and space. That wasn't that long ago. It's been supernatural shit happening since and before. And the physics is now different to encourage, reveal, guide us into more supernatural so that it is balanced out, that we are privy to it. So that we have sovereignty and run ourselves and our environments. Because if we keep a healthy environment and people, a good ecosystem, and not an ecosystem, an ecosystem that people can come and eat and participate and bring their blessings, their skill sets, and then there's no caste system. It's just you work and you eat. You know what I'm saying? You work, you eat. You don't work, you don't eat. But ain't no caste system. It's based off of your skill set, how you're applying it, the fruits of your labors, your efforts. If you want to stay out of that Mothman trajectory, if you want to stay out of the focal point that the wrathful goddess gang is staring at, hard, Oshun, everybody's staring hard. Oshun took her earrings off and put grease on her face and cornrows. She looking like the ancient sorceress from what do you call that? Doctor Strange. Because Oshun did receive her boon, so she's very much like the ancient supreme sorcerer. Big up Oshun. What's up? Stay out of this cataclysmic energy. Spiritual burp. Stay clean, smooth up out of it. Let me get a couple of cards. How much time are we in? Okay, 43. Let's pull a couple of cards real quick, y'all. I'm gonna pull it from the 357 Saratoga, loaded with the Volga. I love it. This is one of my favorite cards from this oracle because it reminds me of Doc Holliday. What's up, Doc Holliday? He's resurrected. He's here. He's at play. That's incredible. I cannot wait to sit down and like pick the brains of these folks that crossed over and are alive and resurrected. Leonardo da Vinci is one of them. I would love to sit down. I heard he's a great chef. I would love an amazing Italian meal and sit down and just talk to him. Like, what was it like back then as you overrode the caste system with your skills? What was that like? You know? Doc Holliday, that's what's up. Thank you for having my back. So with Doc Holliday, he's helping to get people out of our energies, and it doesn't matter how. He's getting them out of our energies, but they're getting the fuck up out of our energies. That's what I'm hearing. Palo Santos. Keep yourself and your environment blessed up with the Palo Santos. Very, very important. This is thwarting a lot of plots and plans of getting you caught up for certain things, especially false charges to go into prison. We're back to that. Here we go. It's like a handful of, maybe I should just do an upload on just the Cain versus Abel play-by-play book. Cain being narcissistic personality disorder, NPDs. Okay? I always look at the matrix like a computer system with a CPU and a short RAM. You understand me? The CPU is that gate to heaven, the VIP, and the short RAM is the gate to the VIP of hell. This is where we're at on this planet now. You gotta pick and choose which one. There ain't no tepid, ain't no twixt betweens. Okay? You gotta make a choice. Because if you're Cain, you're screwed. And you're stuck in this strange like hamster wheel of BS and how you like to repeatedly attack Abel. So this doesn't work, let me try this. This doesn't work, let me try this. It's like at least 5 top things that these assholes try on a regular basis. Let's give this a shot. Let's give this a shot. Let's see if we can get this corrupt law enforcer to give us the resources we need to do this, 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 to do this. Let's get this corrupt judge to do this, and do. I'm like, that's all y'all do all day. Do this and do this and do this and do this and do this. Okay? Some of it I'm getting is not law enforcement only. I got the scene from Training Day full on where they have like the essays come after Ethan Hawke's character. It wasn't until they found out who Ethan Hawke was. Like, got some street cred for what he did, how he looked out, who he really is, his character. He got pulled out of a really bad situation. So that's going on. I mean, that's been showing up in collective reads, and damn sure been showing up in my personal and collective reads over here. That essays, canal, big up to all the canals and the canalitos and the canalitas and stuff that are like, I'm not fucking with her. I'm not fucking with him. Do y'all know who they are? These are Trojan ones. Nah, bro. You ain't gonna get me caught up in some BS. You fight her. You fight him. I'm not doing this. I'm out. Do you know who you fucking with? No, it doesn't matter. I was able to fuck with them before, but I need a fresh new way to fuck with them. I was just like, yo, you need to stop. You're obsessed. You need to stop. You're obsessed with, this is who you fucking with, and this is who you are. Nah, I'm good. I'm out of here, because God is going to tear me up. This is one of God's right here. I don't fuck with that. I draw a line. I have some kind of boundary. So no, I'm not going to come up, roll up on them, and do something to them. I'm not going to do it. That's been going on. That's been going on all along, but it's more intense now, right? Let me leave that card out. But Palo Santos, keep your space blessed up daily. Not just Palo Santos, that's just an example, but that's one of the things. That's one of the tools. Whatever tool you use, okay? Whatever tool you use, it's a good idea. But the Palo Santos is something that I am advising at the top of the list, everybody. Inside man. And see, for those who can't stop, won't stop, you're going to have to now, because there's an inside man. You'll never find him. You know why? Because, like I said, there is an actual secret society that's supernatural, immeasurable, coming in every race possible. When those graves cracked open during the time of crucifixion, it just wasn't a graveyard locally from where Yahshua was being tortured to death on the cross. Every grave on the planet and off-world opened. Where there was a grave in existence, in creation, it opened. So that secret society is the illest. It's not just international, it's intergalactic and interdimensional. Don't no secret, quote-unquote, society on this planet got an answer for them. So whether you're Skull and Bones, Illuminati, whatever the fuck, Rosicrucian, I don't, whatever you are part of, make your choice and stick with it. Taking an oath for your society, chapter, or whatever should not stop you from making the best choices possible. You took an oath. This is something that you wouldn't trade for the world. I got you. You have. I get it. I get it. That's your brethren, your sister. But you better be making the highest choices, or you're gonna be burnt, not burned, burnt alongside your sisters and brethrens. Making low choices, making short RAM choices instead of the CPU choices, because we see you in and out of the ICU, and it's going to continue until it doesn't, because you're out of here. You're in hell. Right through the short RAM you go. So when you thought you were slick, nah, you got the inside man hidden very, very well. Hidden very well. This is you don't got an answer for it. I'm sorry. You don't got an answer for it. All you got to do is just do the right thing. What up, Spike Lee? What's going on? I see the inside man, and I'm hearing do the right thing. So the other side is definitely bringing up Spike Lee, because I wasn't thinking about it. What's up, Spike? How you doing? Interesting. We'll see about that. We'll see about Spike Lee. Anyway, the Super Terror Dome, based off one of my premonitions for Katrina before it happened, their Super Dome was formulated into a Super Terror Dome. I wasn't understanding at the time that I was in a mezzanine inside the dome looking at the dome full of sewage and children. They were people, but I registered them as children from ages 4 to 17. This is the age span, basically, of a narcissistic personality disorder. Very immature, mean girl table, childish, will never grow up. And from ages 4 to 17. That number is so important. 417, 14, 7, very crucial. You're going to see that number come up a lot in my reads. It's a very, very critical number when it comes to the Queen Emperor of Hell, when it comes to just hell. These narcs, they will have a first class ticket into the VIP of hell. They like first class, they like VIP situations, they got it from the choices that they have made. And into the Super Terror Dome they go. On the back it says, "Oh yeah," in real fucking time on 100. It's also talking about wherever you are residing right now is where a lot of enemies, or just key enemies who really tried a lot of plots and a lot of plots and plans. I always call it pots and pans. So let's just call it pots and pans, my dyslexic ass. All these pots and pans that they were cooking up shit for you, putting poison in your food, breaking into your house, putting shit in your products and stuff. Like, this is so prominent and prevalent, and especially when it comes to anything that could, like formaldehyde, I was told, and mercury, I was told, has been utilized for the Trojan ones. And you will feel issues in the chest, the heart chakra. On top of that, once they know that you are ingesting that they got it into your home, into your products, put it into your shoes so it go through your feet. Like, they tried everything, right? Because we refused to die. We refuse, okay? So they done tried everything. They done, you gonna put shit in my shoe? Fuck you. So it impacts the heart. Definitely keep charcoal capsules, activated charcoal capsules. You can buy it, order it on Amazon for a really good price. You can go to Vitamin Shop. You can go to your Walgreens, your drugstores, whatever. But you take that if you feel like something is going on, and then you take your ass to the hospital or whatever you deem is necessary. No micromanaging here. Just providing another tool, because that activated charcoal, it absorbs what is toxic in your body. Be careful if you take it, and if you're taking a painkiller, your painkiller might not work because the charcoal is seeing that painkiller as something that needs to be absorbed out and moved through the bowels. So if you're taking the charcoal, you're taking it with, try to drink as much water as you can, because sometimes your stomach is fucked up from whatever they've done to you. Your whole bowel movements, your whole digestive system is fucked up because you're ingesting a toxin. There's body aches, especially around the shoulders, the upper body shoulders, the lethargy, but definitely a focus on the lungs and heart, hence the pneumonia deaths. Okay? So if you are dealing with it and your body is flushing it out, you're overriding it because you're this, and you already know about the charcoal, you already know about, you're a healer, so you already know about what's going on and how to protect you and yours. Okay? You recognize that you're being poisoned because your bowel movement has a certain odor and a certain consistency. You're extremely gassy. I'm saying this for the obvious reasons, for those who are going through this. This is what it is. Put shit in your hair product, your hair falling out crazy. Put stuff in your toothpaste, or do something, put poison in your toothbrush. You got cyanide poison in your shit. Like, yo, these motherfuckers, they really are paid to do some grimy shit. That's why this is why you have Oya tearing up people. This is why you have the Mothman and all. This is extinction level event. You got them going into the Super Terror Dome. I sketched this. I have an actual rendering. This is a sketch onto this 357 card from an actual rendering of what the Super Terror Dome looks like. And the image that I used to render out the Super Terror Dome is from a photo of what they believe is the Ark, the Noah's Ark, and Mount Ararat in Turkey. A lot of us are very much aware of this particular theory that that's the Ark. I believe it's the Ark. And I was guided to take the image of the remnants of Noah's Ark and do a series, and I got some ill-ass fucking images. It might just be a little anomaly in Mount Ararat, a natural anomaly and not a man-made situation, but let me tell you what I got up out of that anomaly. My premonition, I was like, Katrina, yeah, those who allowed for Katrina to ravish New Orleans is in trouble. Those who are really behind 9/11, you're fucked. Those who were behind the deploying of COVID, you're fucked. And where you're going, and this is just one small space in that new VIP of hell, is the Super Terror Dome. Now, at the base of the Super Terror Dome, right here, because there's many faces that's in this, many faces. At the base is the hitman. Those who were hired to do something to you, they're going here. And inside the Super Terror Dome is sewage and vomit, all types of fluids that come from the body when the body is ailing. Oh, I'm ready to vomit. Whatever sludge from rigor mortis, whatever, if an organ breaks down and what secretes out of your body, like when the bodies that were bloated and swelling from Katrina, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth doing these things. The 9/11s and the Katrinas and the COVID, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it, because this is just one neighborhood in that new hell. There's so much worse. Remember, this is a body part of the Queen Emperor, or Emperor Queen of Hell, Lilith. This is just a body part. This is behind the $2 bill, y'all. This lady always lady. This chick always got, this is her face. She always got her legs open. When do you take a break? So where this Super Terror Dome is, if you want to look at the map of the Queen Emperor of Hell, and I know eventually she'll be watching this, because she can't help it. She can't help it. And she tapped into this, and she wants to know what's going on. You know, what did I steal? Mirror, mirror on the wall with all the mirror magic blowing up in people's faces. Something hard right now in real time. Mirror magic is tearing motherfuckers up. Okay. But you wanted to tap in, and now you got it. But you're you know. But right here in this region is where the Super Terror Dome is. If you want to know where in the blueprints. Right here. This is her scrotum. I guess that's why her legs is wide open, because she has a massive scrotum. As a demon, sometimes you have both reproductive parts. Sometimes you have none. No reproductive parts. But she has both. She has male reproductive parts and female reproductive parts. That's why they keep calling her Emperor, Queen of Hell. Okay, but this is saying, oh yeah, is like, let me get you down into where you belong. This is your destiny. That Super Terror Dome is especially vile because the people who were behind such horrible, depraved, catastrophic extinction level events, they are the reason why Mars looked like the way it is. They are the reason why Atlantis went down. They played a major part in Yeshua's crucifixion. And they all come back at the same time right now. And the 144,000 is wrangling each and every last one of them. When it's time to rig them up, you gotta jerk the trigger. When it's time to jerk them up, you gotta jerk the rigger. What's up, Wyatt Earp? And Doc Holliday, and of course Tupac taking Wyatt Earp's writings and creating a hook with it. When it's time to jerk them up, you gotta jerk the trigger. When it's time to rig them up, you gotta jerk the rigger. I'm like, and you can mix it up and twirl the words around all you want. And it still works. When it's time to jerk them up, you gotta jerk the rigger. When it's time to jerk them up, you gotta jerk the trigger. See, either one works, okay? So, let me get a final card. Oh. It's coming out, but I'm definitely looking at this. Okay, so a warrant. This was supposed to be for you, but coming for you with this plan, coming for a Trojan horse with this plan. Guess what was packed within you all this time? Mixed in real good with the poison that they gave you. Time for people to get on. And this doesn't mean a literal arrest warrant. If the Ark of the Covenant wants you gone, you're gone. You're no longer alone. You have your own secret society. They're embedded everywhere. Undetectable. That's why you're not in jail. And that's why you're not dead. And I had to take a look at this. This came out with it. The World card. The all-seeing eye, the world. But it's also called the ellipse, which is another word for resurrection. And it says, on schedule. Let's read it. On schedule. Let me get my little glasses. On schedule. Backfiring of all forms of plots instantaneously. As the sun sets, the moon awakens. Plenty of Two of Cups vibrations. Jobs, love, family, friends. Healthy Two of Cups. Healthy Two of Cups. Be careful. Outside of that, the false, fake Two of Cups energy. Very dangerous shit going on. A lot of hitmen embedded into those new formulated, handler type relationships. This is the culmination. Temperance is required, and there's a new gate. So that's important because they wanted to block, just like in Jerusalem, they wanted to block the Golden Gate so that Yahshua couldn't come through. Meanwhile, cities are built on top of cities, especially in the ancient world. Constantinople, Istanbul, like, there's cities up underneath cities, up underneath cities. And in Jerusalem, there's the Jerusalem we see now, and then there's an even older Jerusalem. The Jerusalem we see now, that everybody goes to visit today in real time, I call that the old Jerusalem, because the new Ark of the Covenant, the round table, intergalactic, interdimensional, is filled with nothing but new Jews who rule Shalom, the New Jerusalem. And Anunnaki talk, it would be called Nibiru. This is the New Jerusalem, the new Jews who rule peace, the new Jews who rule Shalom, Mega, Omega energy. We rule peace, but we rule the end of a long time that Earth and even other planets and star systems have had to deal with a certain amount of wickedness, overwhelming the positivity that we're supposed to also have. It has to be balanced. Too much of anything ain't good. At the bottom of the deck, or the emotional like Carl Thomas. They're emotional right now. And they're going to be more emotional. This is the bottom of the deck. They're emotional now because this card come up all the time. But what's coming next for them? Well, justice and the star is there. And that's on your behalf. That's some nice heaven on earth. Justice, good karma, good boundaries, healthy, instead of people just marching over your boundaries and bullying you, right? And then the star, dreams coming true, wishes coming true. That Carnegie Hall thing. It may not come through the way that you initially said it, but with your current maturation and further maturation to come, when it does arrive, is something to be really grateful about. And that's why you had to be toe up and beat the fuck down for a long time. This is the illest hustle. We're the illest hustlers. This is the long game. And when we're needed like dough to rise, the only way we're going to get needed and pulverized is by getting these narcs, these narcissistic personality disorders, these Canes and Canettes to cut up and act the fool and come for a Trojan one, child. And look how it culminates. One way or the other, justice is to be served. And they're very emotional now, and they're going to get even more emotional down the line. It says the second coming is cleansing out. So we had the first resurrection, the first coming. Now we have the second coming, second resurrection that's at play, where the different physics is also incorporating and bringing in. So you got the new Jews who rule Shalom. You got the Jerusalem, the old Jerusalem. People thinking they're blocking gates, but there's also something called the new gate in Jerusalem. A secret underground gate. Then there's an older Jerusalem before, prior to that, underneath that one, like I was saying. So underneath the Golden Gate, the Golden Gateway, where they had sealed up and blocked to keep Yahshua from coming through, which is some bullshit. The stop of prophecy. Prophecies don't stop. And this is a hustle. So maybe we said the Golden Gate, but that's not what was going to happen. We said it so that you can seal it and then cause a cataclysm later. The same assholes that were alive, the Ottoman Empire that had that gateway sealed, them same motherfuckers are here today. They've reincarnated and they gotta pay for that. They gotta pay for it. Yeah, this is a good idea. Seal up the gate so Yahshua can't come through. That's a great idea. No, it wasn't a great idea. Because you reincarnated, right now you in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, and you about to go to hell for that. I'm from I'm not from the Ottoman Empire. I'm from Jamaica, and I don't give a damn. This is in your Akashic record. You never paid for that. This is Judgment Day where we pay for everything, or we receive a payment for all the good that we've ever done since the moment we began to exist, right? So the second coming is cleansing out Illuminati sectors. Hollywood is the new ark, and the gate of Herod, aka hell, but the gate of Herod, based off of Jerusalem, is wide open and very busy. So to seal that golden gate, now the gate of Herod is snatching everybody and their mama all the way up and through and down into the VIP of hell. The golden gate, however, underneath the golden gate, because there's another Jerusalem under that, there is a cemetery, a burial ground. That's how Yahshua comes through, the second resurrection. Right underneath that golden gate is another way out, through a cemetery that's underneath the gate. You can dig yourself right on out. And like a thief in the night, you don't see Yahshua. You don't see Jah coming with that wrath and with his bride. Doom ran doom. Big up to the Mothman and women, I'm assuming, right? Big up. And thank you. And thank you for your protection too. They come in here and they stand by this door because things like to come in the middle of the night and harass my family and I. But with the Mothman there, I don't think they're too comfortable just moseying on in here to mess with us at night. That's another story, y'all. Anyway, just wanted to give you some information on this Mothman and the excitement I'm feeling about all the good that's coming. But there's excitement because you can still feel the doom energy, even though it's not against you. Doom is on your side. It's not on their side. Okay? Take care and see you in the next upload, guys. Return back and get some more information, some more receipts, some more confirmations. Okay?